Today's talk is entitled Pole Shift, the Galactic Hemispheres and Mythology. This talk is an addition to my previous talk that was given a few days ago, and it's a sort of add-on, but it does actually stand on its own. The previous talk was called The Occult Hiding of the Fractal Universe and How to Make Sense of Hopi and Mayan Mythology. So really what I want to do is I want to start with where we are in current science, what current science is predicting, and I don't want to labour it. I mean, there's a 20-minute video talking about the Kachinas and the different rotation of the Earth. What I want to do is get on with this, and so what we have in science is a Big Bang, something everything's created out of nothing. Very strange to me, doesn't make any sense to me, and it doesn't matter how much mathematics or whatever theory that they produce, I just cannot get my head around it. Obviously in the initial stages of the Big Bang, I mean, there's so many questions that you've got to ask, like, does light change its speed? If the universe was expanding quickly, does light change its speed? In relation to the speed of the universe, is it expanding quicker or slower? And I mean, it blows open the whole thing of a constant speed of light and everything else. It's just these Zionist scientists just putting together a patchwork quilt of craziness. Anyway, from the Big Bang, everything's spinning in the same direction. So nothing can spin any other direction at the point of the Big Bang. And the only way that I can see, or that's generally talked about, that things change their spin direction, is by things crashing into other things. Now, to me, this is a fear-based system or model of the universe. I'm not so sure how many observed events like this have been seen. I mean, we can see things hitting planets, but I'm not so sure that they're what we think they are. In fact, I would dispute that. Anyway, we have this linear mechanistic model which requires things to bang into each other to change the spin direction, and that's it. That's what they got. So if we then look at a pole shift theory, we're required to have a slippage of the Earth's crust over its molten core, tsunamis, the world would end. I mean, this is doomsday stuff. Doom porn, I suppose. I mean, the whole world gets off on this catastrophe, and we're quivering in our shoes over bird flu and being hit by an asteroid and everything. It just turns our divinity into a demon of fear. I referenced this part of Manly Palm Hall's work, and I referenced this in the last talk. I'm not going to labour on about that. And so what we end up with is people like Immanuel Velikovsky's work. It's called Worlds in Collision, and of course it's an interesting background to Velikovsky. In my thinking, he's just another Zionist scientist, and Immanuel Velikovsky was a Russian Jewish psychiatrist, independent scholar, and this is a Wikipedia thing. So earlier he played a role in the foundation of the Hebrew University in Jerusalem. He also, so we have this Zachariah Sitchin bastardizing our mythology, and he proposed a revised chronology of ancient Egypt, Greece, Israel, and other current cultures of the ancient Near East. So he's rewriting history to suit his religious beliefs. Zacharias, whether he was paid as a Zionist scientist, who knows? I really don't care. I'm only seeking truth. That's all I care about is finding answers to the problems that I have within my own mindset. If people want to believe me, they can. So in that previous video, I talk about what Hollywood is trying to sell us. I believe that there is known science, which is the occult science, which is science that really is hidden. And I think that there is the linear mechanistic model, which is our current view of science. So they sell us the bullshit, and they keep the reality of themselves to themselves. So when we're being brainwashed by Hollywood, they give us partial truths. Now, obviously, if you have a look at the previous video, you'll understand in context what this is saying. But this is an Illuminati fake invasion lie. Muddies the waters just like Zacharias Sitchin, and muddies the waters just like Emmanuel Velikovsky, and so we're now deranged. We've got people on the internet who hate me because I'm suggesting that Star Trek's not real. Hate may be a strong word. They're indoctrinated by Star Wars or whatever it is. And then you've got the scientists who are indoctrinated by the non-occult science, which is the bullshit science, and then the hidden science, which is held in the hands of the minority. So we're now deranged and we sit in fear. So what I want to do is I want to explain pole shift in terms of a non-linear mechanistic model, or how the ancients saw it. This is just an add-on from my previous video, as I said. So what we have is the ancient view of creation. This has been endorsed by my research into the Orb Bar Wave model of the universe. There's enough of my videos on there, but I'm trying to create clarity and trying to make it as simple as I can. So throughout history, and we're talking of ancient history now, we're not talking within the last 1,000 years, we're talking in the last 4,000 years. There are events, and in Joshua there's an account where the earth stopped turning. So what does that mean, and how can that happen? Well, it can only happen if something bangs into it. In fact, there is no method under the linear mechanistic model that the earth can stop turning unless it's lost all its energy from the Big Bang. And so they dismiss it. They dismiss it and laugh at these biblical stories and ancient stories. They ridicule them, in fact. Ha ha ha, the earth stopped turning. What a load of bollocks. But unfortunately, that's an arrogance that we have today, dismissing our ancient ancestors. And I'm not talking about the modern ancestry of. We're talking of the prehistoric peoples. We're talking of pre-Bronze Age or early Bronze Age people. So I'll go back to the Hopi mythology. Is they talk about the Earth standing still, and these kachinas or balls of energy, which were seen in the day that the Earth stood still, coming over each of the poles. And I talked about in the other video, so I'm not going to talk about it now. And change the rotation of the Earth to counterclockwise. So, very, very simply, that the Earth changes its rotational direction. Does not fit in with the linear mechanistic model in any shape or form. So now I want to explain it simply. There's a known phenomenon called hurricanes. I think that many in the Americas will know about them. We don't see many of them over in Great Britain. They move counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. It's a known observed event, and I think that The following image is just showing the differences in spin of the old idea of the plug hole and the water drain in one direction in the northern hemisphere and one direction in the southern hemisphere. Now, scientists don't like this. They don't even believe it happens. They don't believe it happens because their science won't allow it to happen. So sailors now can sail from the northern to the southern hemisphere, and they can experience a change in rotation. They can actually experience the water stopping, spiraling around the equator, and then turning in the other direction as it passes the equator. But science says that doesn't happen. It's because of the bowl. Well, unfortunately, the bowl in the ship doesn't change as it goes through the equator. It remains, not unless it's jelly mold or something. I don't know how they would explain it away, but this is what science does. It protects its theories to its last breath. And so as the ship sails through, or let's call it our solar system, the galactic center, the Earth will change it, will pause, will slow down, and change its rotation, as we've been told by the Hopi and as we've been told in biblical scriptures. And so, simply to explain this, we have a clockwise rotation at the moment. As we pass through the galactic center, we will change to counterclockwise, as predicted by the Hopi and the ancients. So, I'm sure this is probably less frightening than the worlds in collision model that the Illuminati want to spread. I'm sure this is probably a more palatable and understandable model, except if you're a physicist of some type. You know, the logical people of the world will go, yeah, we're just sailing through the equator. How many ships sink on the equator? You know, I mean, they just sail through it. You know, alright, I'm not suggesting that there isn't going to be earth changes or massive changes, you know, if these events are right, if my interpretation is right, and if my research is right. There will be changes. Let's hope they are the changes that the ancient peaceful ones predict. God bless you all. My final words, please download this, upload it, keep it in context, and share it amongst the internet. Nobody seems to want to be interested in my work. If it's shared in many locations, then maybe, just maybe, someone will just get up and realize that what we said have been sold as a crock of shit. Thank you very much. Sorry for all the swearing. God bless you all. Bye bye.